Hi everyone, Linda here again with you from Gunlock Lane Jewellery. This week I've got something totally different for you, and it's been a request that I've had over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks now, that getting comments asking me to do this particular thing. So I thought rather than a link this week, we would make a ring. So if you'd like to learn how to make this ring, this is the one that we're making in the tutorial. This is the original one that people saw. So if you'd like to learn how to make that, then just stay with me and I will get all my supplies together and get right back with you. Okay, before we get started, I'll show you a couple of examples. So this was the one that people were commenting on, this one here. This is a thumb ring. There's also this one here, which I did. This is copper with, what's it called? Coated silver wire. That was just my practice one. But I thought it looked quite effective with the silver and copper, so that's an idea for you. But I would use what's it called? Sterling silver or silver filled, or something like that, if you're going to, especially if you want to put it through the tumbler. If you're not going to put it through the tumbler, then you can use this coated wire. Yeah, so that was another idea there. And then this is one that I came up with. This one goes all the way around. The wrapping goes all the way around. The plait, the braid, whatever you want to call it, goes all the way around. This one is only goes 3/4 of the way around, which I think is nice. And I made it for my middle finger there, and I'm actually going to make 2 more and put those. Depend, maybe 1. I'll see. So I just wanted to give you an idea. So we'll get started with today's one. So now, the easiest way I think to do this is to get yourself a piece of scrap paper like this, and put it, whatever finger you're going to put it on, bring it around and mark where you're where, and don't pull it tight. Just have it fairly loose, because remember you've got all this wrapping and everything going on, which is going to take up room, which will shrink the size of the ring. So you just want to do something like that, mark it, and then cut your pieces of wire to that length, like that. Now another way you can do it, of course, is with your ring mandrel. Just put that aside. With your ring mandrel, whatever size you're going to make it, go up a half size at least, or a 1/4 to a half size, just depending. Yeah, it depends on a lot of things. It depends on the thickness of your wire. It depends on the thickness of your wrapping wire. Yeah, that all comes into account, but you can do it this way. If you made it to your exact size, you're going to have to do a lot of hammering, which is going to bugger up your wrappings around the outside. So yeah, I'm not really sure, because I haven't done any of this myself, so I don't know. But if you're going to use a ring mandrel, this is what I was getting to. You would need to do one at a time. You couldn't. So if you're working off your reel and you've got your reel, let me grab something here, something a bit thicker than that, 20 gauge. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm trying to explain this the best I can. It's, yeah. So you would come around, say with your 20 gauge, you would make 1. Oh dear. Make 1 loop, cut it, and then make 1 exactly the same size. So you can't wrap it around and then cut each one, because your ring mandrel's graduated and you're going to get 4 different size rings. So you have to do each one individually. That's what I was trying to get at, just to hopefully make your life a little bit easier. Put this out of the way. Where can I put that there? I've got no room on my desk at the moment. I've got stuff everywhere. Okay, so I've got my 4 pieces cut here, and this is square wire we're using. And you want to try and get them as straight as you can, so you can use your, your wire straighteners. They don't have to be perfect, but you don't want any big ridges or anything, bumps and whatnot in them. So just get them as straight as you can. All right, I'm not going to worry about mine too much. And I also wanted to say this is not my original design. I did see this somewhere else, and if I could remember the name of the YouTube channel I saw, I know it had a T. I think it was something like Talisman or something like that. I'm not sure. That's where I saw this, and I saw this quite a while ago, and I didn't get around to making it. And then a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, something like that, it popped up again, and I just had a quick look at it, and I thought, oh, I'll give that one a go. So I made it, and people have been commenting on it. So I just want you to know it's not an original, so don't come at me saying it's not an original. All right, so we've got our 4 pieces of wire. Now I'm going to find something that I can form these around. Now you can use your ring mandrel, but I'm just going to use a piece of dowel to form these around. So, and make sure that you've got your wire flat. You want, you know, you've got 4 sides to your wire here, so you need to make sure it's flat. That's one of the main things. You don't want to twist in it. So I'm just going to form these around. Oh, and that's pretty much the size that I want. Look at that. How good's that? That was lucky. Almost. I just have to trim a little bit off. It says just a smidge I might take off that, I think. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to do 4 of those, and as I said, make sure you keep your wire flat. Did I tell you this is 20 gauge? This is 20 gauge wire. This is the difference. This one, the difference in the thickness between this one and that one. This is on 18 gauge square wire, and this one's on 20 gauge. So depending again how you know, thick you want your ring. I think this is very masculine, this one, and this is more feminine. But a man could also still wear that, just depending on what their style is, you know, what they like. Anyway, so I'm going to make these other 3, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, back with you. So I've got my 4 rings done here. Now you just want to make sure that they're all the same size. So just line them up and make sure they're the same size all the way around. Okay, next we're going to, I forgot about this part. I just thought of it then. I'm just going to give them a bit of a hammer with the rubber mallet, just to strengthen them and just, you know, flatten them out a little bit because they could be out of shape. So anyway, I'll do these off camera and I'll come back. Okay, back with you. After hammering, them, they're obviously going to come apart a little bit. So just, you know, wiggle them back over each other like that until you bring them in. You might have to do it a couple of times. That's pretty good. And then if they're just a little bit out of shape, just use your wire straighteners just to, you know, bring that more into a line like that. Okay, so now we're going to lay these down. I've got one at 12 o'clock. I'm going to do one at 6 o'clock. So I've got the joins, one at 12, one at 6, one at 9, is that 9 or 3? That's 3. One at 3. I just thought that's not right, Linda. And one at 9. Like that. And I'm going to grab some half round wire. I've got, what have I got here? 21 gauge. This one works okay, but I wished I had some 24 gauge. So if you've got some 24 gauge half round, use that. But the 21 is fine. As I said, it works, you know, perfectly fine. I just think it would give you a finer ring if you had the 24. So again, depending on what you're looking for. Now with this, I can't give you an exact amount because it'll depend on the size of the ring that you're making. But I'm going to tell you, you need quite a bit. So if you think you've got enough, then take off a little bit more. All right, so just to be on the safe side, because you don't want to have to be trying to, you know, patch your wire in. It's a pain in the backside. All right, I think I've got quite enough here, hopefully. so I'm going to cut that. Yeah, that is a, yeah, 21 gauge I am using. Yeah, half round dead soft. Okay. All right, now you have to put that somewhere so it's comfortable to use. You know, like lay it by side. You know what I mean? Oh, goodness. I just crack myself up sometimes. I just... Okay, make sure you've got a flush cut on that. Okay, I'm going to grab these wires. And I don't want to start on a join. So I want to find a part where it's... Okay, that's a good place there. Make sure they're nice and, you know, flat. You know what I mean? You know, all the same level. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then using the, make sure you've got this wire up so you've got the flat side facing you. And you can tell that by how shiny that is opposed to the other side. If I can turn this is hard to turn over because I've got it sitting in my lap. That's not as shiny on that side. So look for the flash. And the thinner the wire, this wire is, the harder it is to see, let me tell you. So I'm going to bring that in underneath my wires there. And this is hard. This is probably the hardest part, is getting this started. Keeping these flat. It's going to grab my pliers and get those nice and flat. And I'll move that around, so I want to join now, so I'm going to come around here. Once you get this part on, it's easy from here on. Okay, you're just going to bring your wire through, making sure that you've got the flat side facing you all the time. You don't want any twists in your wire. Now, if you saw my tutorial on the on a link I did, I think it was 2 weeks ago, this is the same method that we did on that. And I've got those too tight together. I've wrapped that too tight. I don't know why I can't do these things on camera. I can do this perfectly fine when there's not a camera in my face. I'm trying to count those there and I can only see 3, so what, there it is underneath. Okay, I'm going to have to start this again. Undoing that. Come on, get out of there. Now, if you do soldering, you could obviously solder these joins, which would make it so much easier, but I don't do soldering yet. I'm thinking about starting it, but it's just a space thing for me at the moment. Now, just straighten this wire up. All right, let's try this again, Linda. So, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You know, you could always use 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You could always use a piece of painter's tape to do this, to hold them together if you wanted to. But I haven't had the problem until now, and that's only because I'm on camera. All right, I know what I might do. I might try, put those down for a sec. I was sitting here thinking, should I just stop this and redo it? And then I thought, no, you'd like to see how you correct things, like when something doesn't go right. Okay, so I've got those, so I'll leave it the way it is. Oh, this is going to come in at a different angle now. Is it? No, there. I need that on to be on the bottom. Ah, now I just dropped my wire. Sorry, be back in a moment. It's on the floor. Okay, so I picked it up and I've got it started. So I've just wrapped it on the same as what I did before. And I've just given it a soft squeeze with my pliers. Now let's see if we can get this going without any more dramas. Oops. Holding that as flat as you can. And I'm going to push this wire through this time rather than bring it the other way, but I've still got the flat side facing me. And because this is quite a long piece of wire, I probably cut off too much this time, but yeah, I just didn't want to run out. Oh, Linda, goodness. Now I'm caught up on another piece of wire over here on the side of my desk. Comedy capers. Okay, move that out of the way. Okay, so I've got that coming up. I swear it wasn't this hard when I was doing it off camera. Now I've got a little bit of you know, crappy wire happening there, so just straighten that up. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious, why is this so hard under a camera? Stop. We just behave. All right, now I've got the start of that one going there, so I'm going to bring in my wire. Now, this one here has the braid on it, and I'm not going to demonstrate that because that took me absolute hours. I don't have anything to hook onto, so it was really difficult for me to make that braid, and I didn't want you to have to sit here for hours. Now, you could go ahead and, you know, make a braid yourself if you wanted to, if you know, really, really like that look. As I said, I can't demonstrate it because I don't have anything to hook it onto, and if you could have seen the setup I had to do it, it was just ridiculous. So what I decided I would do is what I've done on this one here, and just twisted some wire, which I think looks really nice as well. So that's what I've done here. So what I did was I got some 24 gauge wire. I twisted it till I had like 2 twisted together, and then another piece, and I twisted that around and then hammered it to get that look there. Okay, so we've got that clear, and make sure you flush cut the end before you use it. I'm going to place that in underneath, leaving just, move that up a little bit so I can get it in there, placing it in the middle of my wire. And you want to leave just enough that you can wrap at the end so it doesn't come out. So about as much as what I've got there. You can see that. All right, I'm going to hold that with my finger. And I'm going to bend this around a little bit to make life easier. If you want to make it even easier, you can anneal this plaited braided wire. Okay, bring that around and push this wire through. Making sure you've got that nice and flat. I'm getting caught on everything here. Oh gosh. Okay. Whoever said everything was easy in jewelry making lied. No, we know it's not. It's trials and tribulations. Same with anything else. I know some people make it look so easy on camera. I don't know how they make it look so easy. I've got 2 on that. I'm going to push those together. straighten my wire again. Just use your wire straighteners because this piece is so long it's getting twisted. Now I should have made my life easier by cutting this off at the right length. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to cut this piece of wire, the braided, the plaited piece of wire. I'm going to cut that to the right length and then I should be okay to go. Be back soon. Okay, so I'm back with you. So what I did when I was off camera, I did anneal this wire here because it was going to be too much of a struggle to get it around. So I would, even though it's just 24 gauge, there's still 3 lots of the 24 gauge wrapped together, or twisted together. Excuse me. So I'm back to where I started. I've just got my second wrap there. So nothing's really changed. I'm just going to do my third wrap. Now you can do as many wraps as you like around this. I think 3 looks nice. So, and that one's wanting to cross over the other one. And I should have cut some of this long wire off as well. A little bit too much. It'd be fine. This length would be fine if I wasn't working under a camera, but it's just getting all mangled because I'm trying to work under a camera. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera, on camera. Okay, I've got 3 that are going there. I'm just going to push those together. Straighten this wire up again. Give that a little press down. You don't want to go too hard. You just want to press it into place. Now, as we did when we were doing the link a couple of weeks ago, make sure these wires are nice and flat here. Lift this one up and bring this wire in and underneath, and you want it to get as close as you can. So I have to lift this wire up a little bit more, as close as you can to that other wrap. Of course, it doesn't want to behave and do what it's supposed to do. I'm just going to try and push those together with my nails. All right, and keeping the wires straight. So now you should have the dull side facing you because you're putting it through underneath and bringing the shiny side, the underneath side, the flat part up towards you. And I've got it caught down here now. Oh gosh, one of these days I'll do a video when nothing goes wrong. Oh my gosh. All right. So now, when I make these off camera, I would have had this totally wrapped by now. To make sure I got those nice and flat. And I'm going to wrap around this, what did I do on the other ones? I think it was 10 times. So I'm going to wrap these 10 times. And if I get to the join before I get to the 10th, I'll come back and show you what to do. So you're just going to, and please make sure that you keep these all nice and even like that. You've got to keep them flat next to each other. You see what I mean there? They're nice and flat. So just make sure you're doing that. You can use your pliers just like I did there. So I'll wrap until I get to this join here and then I'll come back. Okay, back with you. So I've got my 10 wraps done and I'm not up to the join yet. You can see the join there. So I just wanted to tell you, I found it easier to hold your 4 wires flat using your left hand with a pair of pliers. This is the first time I've had to do this, so I just wasn't managing. I don't know why. I've done the other ones perfectly easily without doing this, but yeah, so if you're having a problem like struggling with it, then just try and hold it flat with your left hand so you've got your right hand free. So I've got 10 wraps there. I'm going to bring this wire over the top like this. Now I'll have to let go of this now with my left hand. And I've got that in place, so that's okay. And I'm just going to, you can see it's got a little bit of a hump there. So I'm just going to tap that down gently. Like that until it's reasonably flat, which it is. Then bring my wire over the top again. And wrap that through. I'll get that wire twisted. Grab your wire straighteners if this happens to you. It's still the wrong way around. That's the right side. Where did it twist? Take it back out and straighten it up again. You might have to run over it a couple of times to get it straight. I also wanted to ask you guys, is my volume all right? I've had someone say that, you know, they couldn't hear me, that I needed to get a microphone. I've not had anybody say that to me before, so yeah, I just wanted to check with you guys and see if you can all hear me okay. You know, without anybody telling me, I didn't know, but if that's the case, I don't know. I'll just talk louder, I guess. So I'm wrapping that around 3 times. And then I'm just going to give that a gentle squeeze down. Okay, now I can lift this wire back up again. Wrap that through. And I also want to say to you too, while you're doing this, your joins may move, which mine have moved. And I've got 2, have I got 2 close together? Is that, no, that's part of that one. That's what it is. You just don't want to get them too close together. So just check, and you can grab hold of one of the rings and just move it around to make sure that the joins aren't right next to each other. Why is that doubled up under there? What is going on here? Something's twisted. Yes, that one's twisted there. Where should you be? Bring him out that way. Is that right? Goodness, I don't know what I've done here. I'm going to have to go off camera and have a look and see what I've done. I've got these twisted up somehow. So just keep an eye on that as well, guys. I just can't figure out what I've done here while I'm worried about you guys watching. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back with you. I sorted my problem out there by using a little piece of painter's tape to hold it in place. So maybe you might need to do the same thing. First time I've had to use it. I haven't used it on the other 3 rings, so I don't know what's going on today. Anyway, so we'll just get moving along. So we've got 1 wrap there, and also to make sure to try to keep your plaited or braided wire in the center of your ring, you know, that it doesn't go off to one side or the other. So lifting that back up again and wrapping around. I also cut this wire off shorter, and hopefully I've got enough. I just couldn't deal with it any longer. I thought, oh, goodness. Just push it up, make sure you've got it up there nice and close. I've got that one lovely and close in there. That's what you want. And trying to keep your wraps, these wraps that we're doing now, keeping those as close together as possible too. So just pushing that wire through, making sure that you're keeping it nice and straight, that you've got the shiny side facing towards you all the time. And if you, you know, if it twists or you get a little, what's name in it, just give it a straighten out. Now, these rings don't usually take very long to make. I'd say about an hour, maybe hour and 15. And you should have one completed, maybe even less than that. You know, your first one obviously is going to take longer than any, you know, other ones that you make after it. What I got there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wraps. I went 10. I forgot what I said I had, 3. I came up to 6, 7. Try and get this a bit faster now. 7, 8. I'll just double check that. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I'm up to my 10th one there. I miscounted the first one. So that's 10 wraps. Push them in nice and close and bring your braided wire, plaited wire, whatever you've done, and give that a little push down just so it sits nice and flat to the surface, and then wrap the 3 around. And give those a little tap down. Okay, so just going to continue on like that until we get around to the other side, and then we'll finish it off. I think it's looking lovely so far. But as I said, just make sure you try and keep your plaited bit, braided bit in the center. And if it's moved like mine had, then push it down. Then just come in and correct it with your pliers. Looking nice so far. All right, see you soon. Okay, I just want to pop back in and show you. I've come up to a join here, which hopefully you can see there, and it's moved apart. So if that happens to you, just grab hold of it like this and just pull it up. Oops, I keep moving. Pull it up. Oh. Nothing's going to go right for me today. Okay, pull it up so it's nice and tight in like that. Can you see that? And hold on to it with your flat nose pliers. There, like that. Grab your wire. And you have to use your left hand to do this. There's no other option, so you just have to do it. Bring your wire through. Sorry, my hands are in the way, I know, but you know what I'm doing. And wrap over the top of that. Okay, I can move my pliers down a little bit, just making sure I've got that join wrapped in. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 wraps around there so far. Move my pliers down a little bit more just so I can get my finger in there. Oh, listen to my stomach. It's nearly lunchtime here, that's why. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now that should hold it. And that's held that well. So that's what you need to do if you come across something like that. I just wanted to let you know. And then just also too, as you're working along, just make sure you flatten your wires out so they're nice next to each other, like that. Okay, so I'll come back when I've got around to the end. Okay, so we're coming up on the end of our wraps here, and I'm just about out of wire. I cut it just a little bit too short, so that's what I mean. You need more, and it's easy if you don't have a camera. You can work with a longer wire, so make sure you leave yourself enough. It's surprising how much of the half round wire you actually use just on something that's, you know, not too big. Okay, so I've got 6 wraps down there, so this side is probably not going to turn out, you know, even with these, but this is the underneath part of your ring anyway, so it's on the back of your finger. So just bring bring your plaited braided wire down to meet up with the other one on the other side, and cut that. Like that. Flatten that down. Hopefully they've met up fairly evenly. I think that one has. Okay, I might not get this totally wrapped because I'm running out of wire, and I'm not going to add a piece just for this. Okay, so you're just going to wrap over the top of the whole thing. Yeah, I'm going to run out of wire. Almost made it. I only need the smallest bit more. Well, I kind of made it, but there's this piece here that's not. So I'm just going to flatten that down. I just need to add a small piece in here to finish this off. Now, I'm just trying to think how I would do that. Yeah, I would just wrap over the top of it. Yeah, I was thinking about wrapping in underneath, but I know I don't want to do that. I just want to wrap over the top. So I would just cut another small piece of wire off and come back when it's done. Okay, so I finished that wrapping. It's not as neat as what I'd like it to be, but you know, it started off bad from the beginning. So it's lucky it ended up as good as what it did. So I'm just going to cut that wire off on the inside there, roughly about halfway across the width of the ring. Tuck it down. Make sure you can't feel it. Okay, that's the underside of the ring anyway. Yeah, good size, a little bit big. Probably feel on that finger better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean this up quickly with the Dremel so you can see the pattern of the braid, the plait, and yeah, I'll come back. Okay, that's it cleaned up with the Dremel, so hopefully you can see the pattern in that. I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. Whoops. There we go. You can see the pattern in that. So what I thought, I've got some stuff I need to oxidize. So I'm going to go and do that. Whoops. So I'm going to go and do that, and I'll come back and show you this oxidized and cleaned up and polished along with that one as well. So it won't be long. Okay, well, here's our finished ring, oxidized and polished up. I think it looks lovely. What do you guys think? As I said, it's quite a bit thinner than that one there. But as I said, if you want to make this one, then you need to use 18 gauge, four pieces of 18 gauge square wire to get that thickness. But it is also thicker this way as well through there. So there, that's our ring, and this is the one that I did, that only did halfway on, which I really love that one for some reason. I don't know why. I love it. I'm going to make a couple more, as I said, of that one. Okay, I also want to show you last week's finished chain that I showed you the tutorial for the link, and I didn't get to show you the finished chain, so I thought I'd show you this week. These ones that I did the week before, I think it was, these come up beautiful after being oxidized and cleaned up and polished. I think they look beautiful in there. And yeah, so that's that. It's quite a long chain. I just think this little link looks stunning, and it just gives it some sort of, I don't know, oomph, pop, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I'm going to post a photo of this on in my Facebook group, along with another. This is another bracelet that a cuff bracelet that I was working on. I showed the people in my Facebook group the startings of this, and I changed the stone though. That's the only thing I did different. I was going to put a labradorite in there, but I changed my mind. Yeah, so I'll post a photo of this in my Facebook group as well. So if you'd like to join my Facebook group, I'll leave a link down the bottom. It's a private group. It's a very safe group, so there's no scammers and spammers and all that sort of stuff there. I make sure I'm very diligent about that, or try to be very diligent about keeping those type of people out. Occasionally one will sneak in, but I get rid of them pretty quick. So if you'd like to join that, there's a link down the bottom for that. Other than that, I think that's all I've got to say. So I will catch you all next week. Everybody have a great week, and go out there and make something beautiful. All right, guys, bye.